Welcome to Passages, the podcast where life gets deep, friendship gets real, and the wisdom of the Bible flows, usually right after a debate about tacos and Bigfoot. Join Patrick Birch, Drew Kaiser, Jason Pulliam, and Tim Layton as they explore Scripture, share great quotes, and occasionally get sidetracked by snacks and bad preachers.
Welcome. It's time for Passages, the time that you've been waiting on all week long. We're excited to be here. It's kind of a dark day today. Not kind of, it really is. This is September the 10th, 2025, and today Charlie Kirk was killed out in the open, in the public, at the university in Utah. And 31 years of age, 2 children, leaves a wife behind. And the whole country at this moment is pretty much turned upside down. This comes on the heels of just a day or so ago, a young Ukrainian girl was stabbed on a train in Charlotte, North Carolina, for no reason, no motive, just evil. And as of this recording, we haven't had much chance to look at the news. The killer for Charlie Kirk is on the run. We don't know anything about him or her that I know of, unless you guys have got some updates.
Latest thing I see says manhunt for shooter underway.
And I just realized tomorrow is September the 11th.
Yeah.
So this time of the year is just getting worse and worse, it seems.
Heavy.
We couldn't record this podcast without marking this occasion, and we all have thoughts on this. I don't know where you guys want to start. I want to start with my kids, because Charlie Kirk, being a young man who, you know, his thing was going to college campuses and debating and letting people ask questions. Open format, which was probably his undoing, because he did have security, but it couldn't be too tight the way he operates. He allowed people to come up to the mic and ask their questions. He appealed to young people. So both my kids knew him well. I knew him from watching a few reels on social media, and that's how they knew him, except they watched a lot of his reels. And, you know, they also, living in this day and age where you're not relying on network news and having to be in the TV at the right hour, things that are a thing of the past. My kids have seen the assassination. They've seen the stabbing of the young girl in Charlotte. Our kids are watching these horrible, dark, evil things happen right in front of their eyes. And it's just really a hard thing as a parent to see your kid do that. And I wish it were different.
Yeah.
I hate it.
I would say in this room, probably one of the more, I wouldn't say I'm politically active, but politically motivated people. And I was really familiar with Charlie Kirk, and it came as quite a shock. I don't listen to all of his podcasts. He had a podcast, and I would listen to it from time to time. I've watched a number of his debates just because it's interesting to hear how he handles some of the discussions that come up. Now, I will say this. Sometimes he came across as a little bit smug in his answers, but I think I would too if I were being, I guess, attacked by people and being called names. And I mean, the things that people, the signage, the things people would say to him were cruel. I've never heard him really be inappropriate in his comments towards the people that were asking questions, but I've seen him be very patient. If you've not seen the interview that he sat down and did with Bill Maher, which is probably PG-13 at best, 2 very politically opposed people that sat down and had a very cordial conversation. and two men that don't agree on a lot, but left respecting one another. And that said a lot to me about both those men. I don't know either of them other than what I see their personas on TV and in podcasts and on shows. But I will say that I think Charlie Kirk was probably the most influential person politically for the younger generation in America today. My son messaged me about it. I mean, it's just one of those things that with his foundation, Turning Point USA, was the program he had going to the college campuses. They had some really large events too, like I'm not going to say at arenas, but I guess it would be in theaters or concert halls, things like that. And I think this is going to send some difficult ripples throughout Americana today. I don't know. It's crazy to think about that we're living in a time where people are so diametrically opposed to one another that the only solution they see is I'm going to pull out a gun or a knife or whatever.
One thought that occurred to me, Jason, is
sad.
if you shoot somebody, it's like an admission that you can't answer their questions. You don't want them to talk anymore because you can't win the argument, so you shoot them. It's not going to do any favors for whatever position this shooter supports and whatever enemies Charlie Kirk had, because it's just revving up his base.
What truly creates a martyr?
He is a martyr.
For his
He
cause,
died for his principles.
The thing that tears me up the most about this is he was 31 years old. He would have been, I think I saw his birthday's in October, so 32 next month. But two young kids, a young wife. I mean, this was not just some random individual. This was a dad. He was a husband. He was a son. And just the pointless taking of life. I mean, we're at a point in this country where there's way too much of this stuff. I try not to watch the news. You could not avoid this today. I mean, I had patients talking to me about it. I had staff people coming back and telling me about it. And my kids were messaging me about it. I don't know. I'm always an alarmist and a bit of a conspiracy theorist. So, I mean, take this with a grain of salt, but we're in a dangerous place in this world right now.
There's too much anger, too much vitriol, too much hatred. And the Lord said it in the Sermon on the Mount, the seeds of murder are anger and hate. And he disagreed with a lot of people without being violent. There's a way for us to have a dialogue. I don't know how let's not forget that they've shot at the president twice.
Yeah.
And those are the attempts that got through. How many were stopped that we don't know about? People are shooting up schools. If we put together a list, we could spend the rest of our time talking about all the attacks and violence in this country for political reasons.
We've talked, I know several times on the podcast that we've recorded together, just about how separated the country seems and how, sort of cordial discourse and debate and differences of opinions have gotten so far out of hand that people can't just debate or can't just talk about things and walk away friends, that if you don't share my views on things, then you're my enemy. And I think a lot of that's been revved up by social media because of the things we've talked about, where it gives the anonymity to just say the most harsh things possible, right? So somebody puts a thought out and then people just go nuts and go extreme. And I always hesitate with these kind of things because, Millie and I will talk about them and, she'll say something to me like, how can it be this bad or whatever? And sometimes I think about, well, we're talking about, so talk about the events of this week. We're talking about 2 people in a country of 300 million people. And it is terrible, but is it symptomatic of an enormous problem? Or are there just 2 sick, evil people who did these things? Because, sometimes we'll talk about, well, how do we fix this? And to some degree, as long as there is evil in the world and mentally ill, deranged people, you can't necessarily solve this problem, right? I mean, but I think that there are a lot of things that sort of inflame that situation. And so these people who maybe are out here on the fringe thinking about doing really crazy things where people are just, sort of, taking their, normal action of like coming home and kicking the dog on the internet. And they're just saying, man, I hate Charlie Kirk, or, I wish he'd die, or something like that. And they look at all this stuff and they're like, well, I think I'll load up and go to Utah.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a complex issue that involves mental illness and also involves the vitriol online. It involves the isolation that people are experiencing where they get in their echo chambers. They don't relate to human beings, so they lack empathy, and many, many other things that are way above my head. But we can't just keep saying this is just mental illness.
No,
that's what got that girl killed. Is that guy was arrested 14 times, and they kept releasing him because he was mentally ill. Well, you're mentally ill, fine. You're still dangerous.
Right.
That's right.
And you're still evil.
Right.
I mean, I'm sorry. If you're capable of stabbing an innocent woman in cold blood, that's called evil.
Mm-hmm.
Now, the cause of the evil, we can talk about it.
Yeah.
But it's not something that a pill's going to fix.
But when you've been violent and dangerous, the place to rehab that mental illness is not back out on the streets.
It's in a prison.
Now, I will say this. The other thing today that really frustrated me that I saw also, not that I went scrolling through social media, but I just saw reports about it in different media sites. You asked about, is this a societal problem or is this just a couple of evil people doing evil things? Mm-hmm. We're at a point where our response to these things, to me, shows it's becoming a more societal problem, because while I would say there's a large majority of people that are grieving this loss and see this as a horrible thing, there are people out there celebrating.
Yeah.
There are people that are happy this happened, and that is just as bad of a testament, if not worse, to where we are as a country, where our morality is as a people, than the actual shooting of the person. I
saw some scary things on social media today. I saw kids celebrating the murder of a father of 2 children.
Yeah. It's a scary
Where did they
thing.
get that?
No.
Where does that come from? How can you in any sense condone this kind of behavior? It's totally unacceptable.
It just shows, I believe, the desensitization that people have in this artificial world that exists, right? Because you're exactly right. It's like, how could anybody in their right mind condone that? But when you're just,
throwing things out into the ether or whatever, and also the anger, feels good to spew hate for the moment, but overall you feel terrible all the time.
Yeah.
We just got some real problems in our society. And people are so cruel to each other. And
And I think that's on both sides of the political spectrum. There's hate and evil and anger on both sides. It's not towards one party or the other.
Right.
There's
because the danger here is that somebody on the other side retaliates in the next few days against someone.
yeah.
Right.
And I know the leaders of the parties can't control that. But how many times after Trump was almost assassinated did people say, look, we got to tone down this language? And it didn't stop.
Mm-hmm.
And it
didn't stop on either side. It didn't stop. And
even
people
today,
are going to use
there was that kind of talk.
They're going to use this to gain political points in either direction. You know, I've seen people throwing Charlie Kirk's words in his face before his body got cold. And then on the other side, you know, there's a finger pointing that, you know, every assassin now is a left winger. And we don't believe that.
And that's not true. Yeah.
Right.
It goes deeper than politics. And this is why I'm a preacher instead of there are a lot of reasons why I'm not a politician. I'd be a terrible one. But I just believe the kingdom of God is more powerful than the kingdoms of men. And the only answer to our problems are in the kingdom of God.
And I'll tell you this. This is another example of the brevity of life, right? Here's
Absolutely.
a man, 31, height of his career. I mean, he is one of the most popular people in the world, in the United States. You say his name, most everybody has heard that name.
He's a symbol of something.
He woke up this morning.
He was starting this new
Got his
tour,
day,
right?
that's right.
I mean, it
got
was like
dressed, got ready to
It was
go.
a new phase. This was the first place he had gone with like this version of his tour.
To me, it's just a good reminder of pull your loved ones close, tell them you love them, love the Lord, turn to the Lord, because you don't know. We're not promised the next 10 minutes. And that's
good
such
point,
an
Jason.
eye-opening experience. I mean, to see the footage of it, he's up there on stage. Someone asks him a question. He makes a quick response, or he's responding, and he drops his microphone while he's listening. And the next thing you know, he's gone. I mean, it's
like that.
Horrible.
Yeah.
Absolutely horrible.
And this is probably not the best time to bring this up, but this is a point I wanted to make at some point in this discussion is people don't like him because of his political positions, but he probably gave a mouthpiece to more liberals than any liberal organization ever did. He would give an open mic to anybody who wanted to ask any question they wanted. Now, you better be ready to defend yourself. But college students, professors, anybody that show up to his rallies could come to the mic, unless I'm mistaken. I don't think that he vetted them ahead of time. I think he allowed a lot of freedom there. And so you got to give him that. I mean, this is a guy who wasn't trying to shut people up. He was giving them a voice. It just that he had answers for them they didn't like.
I will also say this about him, and I don't know his full story of his faith and where he was, but I've heard him on multiple of these things openly declare his belief in God, his belief in Christ, profess his belief in that. And people the people that were, interacting with him, debating with him would just fly into a frenzy over that. And he was not ashamed to talk about his God. And I always had a little bit, a level of respect for him for that. Because, it's hard for me sometimes in a group of strangers to want to be comfortable talking about that. And he would talk about that to the mob.
Yeah.
When I jumped on today to try to hear what was going on, I jumped on YouTube and I found Megyn Kelly and Glenn Beck talking, and they're both personal friends of his. And they made a comment that I think sort of maybe talks to the stature of the person we're talking about, that was gunned down today. They said without Charlie Kirk, it's not a given that Donald Trump would have won the election. I was like, that's a pretty bold statement, but I don't think they were trying to, just blow smoke or anything. I think, they talked about the influence he had on the younger generation, and she went back and played a clip of a conversation that they had shortly after the election. And, it was sort of harrowing and, and impressive at the same time. And, he was just, he was talking about how humbled he was by, having anything to do with it or whatever. But the point that they were making is that he was very influential in,
and that's why a lot of people wanted him dead.
Right. That was really sort of where I was going, is that, does that turn out to be, I mean, there's, it's got to be some dislike for him, but, is it because he was so instrumental in maybe mobilizing some of that younger vote that Republicans needed? I don't know.
Sad day.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I don't know the guy, but sad day.
Yeah, it was a gut punch, and
Really?
I'd just seen a few videos, but just the thought that somebody so young could be cut down in the prime of his life while trying to do something good. And he was so important and influential with young people. And I mean, this is an ugly world, and I hate for our kids to have to learn it so fast, but that's the exposure they have, and that's the way the world goes right now. Well, we wanted to open with that because we just couldn't avoid it. But instead of doing a bad preacher, we're going to take a break now. We're going to try to lighten the mood a little bit when we come back and do our usual thing. We got some stories to share with you, and then, of course, the passage there at the end. So stay with us. There's more to come. Just like everyone else. I wanna be different. 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 Just like everyone else. Welcome back. We are ready to go through our segments, and we're going to start with Tim tonight.
All right. I want to give you guys a little bit of a medical update. I don't know that we've got anything for that.
Man,
medical updates,
as soon as you said it, I thought of one. So if you'll stall for just a second.
This isn't going to bring us back down. This is not bad news.
It's not bad news.
Okay.
So while Patrick's looking for something, have you guys ever been allergy tested before?
My son has.
Okay.
Anybody remember
I like
this?
that, yeah.
Huh?
Is that
General Hospital.
Nope.
St. Elsewhere, maybe?
Nope.
No.
Come on.
ER?
No.
Oh, obviously we didn't watch the same shows.
Sounds
growing
very
up.
familiar.
You're like 15 years younger
Is this
than
a
the rest of
Christmas
us.
Carol?
No.
Sesame Street.
Come on.
It's a primetime.
Yeah.
I have no idea. Grey's Anatomy.
Mm-mm. Way older than that. Think
House.
1989.
Scrubs.
1989.
Quincy.
TJ
It's
Hooker.
Quincy.
No.
TJ Hooker. Simon and Simon.
Man.
The Fall Guy. I don't know.
I could know.
What is it?
It's Doogie Howser.
Oh, I never watched that.
Doogie, yeah.
That's why I don't know that. I've
Little
never
Neil
seen a
Patrick
single
Harris.
episode.
I have never ever seen it.
All right.
That can be our medical update intro.
So I had
Is that played on a MIDI keyboard?
I guess.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's
horrible.
Yeah.
I had a
Picture Elmo playing
it's
it
been a minute.
on Sesame Street.
It's been like 40 years.
So yesterday I had allergy testing done.
Okay.
You guys know I had just terrible infection couple of months ago that
We
took
didn't want to
forever.
say anything, but
It took
yeah.
forever to get rid
Made
of.
your head swell up.
Yeah,
real
we could
big.
tell.
We didn't
And-
want to say anything about it though.
It was like my brain was coming out of my ear for a while and stuff.
That's why you couldn't hear out of that ear.
Exactly. And so during that discussion, the ENT said, well, once we get this cleared up, maybe we ought to do some allergy testing. Let's figure out if, you could benefit, if some of this is sort of allergic, initiated. So went back. So I had done allergy testing 15, 20 years ago, and I was expecting the process to be the same. And I'm always pleasantly surprised when there's a process improvement. When 15 or 20 years ago, you go in, you have to show them the gorilla,
And they do the scratch
know.
testing, right?
And so what they did back then was it was like individual needles into the back or whatever, and so,
Ooh.
and, lay down on the table. So that's what I was ready for yesterday. And so I went in and
Took your shirt off before the doctor
Just in
got
the waiting
just
room.
ready.
He was getting ready.
That's right. I was in the waiting room. I thought might as well get ready to
Had
go.
Millie shave his back last
That's
night.
right. That's right. We waxed my back, and so I was ready to rock. So for one thing, she had these little plastic squares
Mhm.
of with all the little allergens in them or whatever, and she said, I do my testing on the arms. And I'm like, hey, you talk to me, I can roll my sleeves up all day long. And so because I was already like, I 100
Yep.
little shots, or that little feel like of the needle. I was like, I'm not looking forward to that. So basically, she just took the square and placed it on my arm, and then the inside of my arm, and then the outside of my forearm, and then a couple more, and 3 minutes she's done. And
No needles.
So there were little needles on the inside of that square.
Okay.
Like
So
the
she
plastic square had the allergen or whatever, and she just
pushed it
on
into
me.
your skin.
Right.
Yeah.
So
Okay.
she hits me at like 8 a time or
Right.
something like
Yeah,
that.
not bad.
And so we do that like 5 times, and we're sitting around talking for 10 minutes or so to see what pops up. And so, but hey, major process improvement there
Mhm.
Yeah.
Mhm.
in the, administering of the test.
Is that why your arms look swollen tonight?
Maybe so.
I thought they were just looking buff.
Yeah.
No,
So,
that's edema.
so she said that the doctor's assessment is
Oh, Tim's got to put his glasses on.
Let me
Oh
put
no.
mine on so I can see.
Oh, no.
Smart too.
the assessment is that if you test positive for 12 things, you ought to have some allergy testing. Now, you guys each know every one of y'all has an animal in the house, right?
Yep.
Am I
Yeah.
right?
Like
And so-
50.
So y'all know, because I've been to all of your houses, and generally I try to find like a wood chair or something, and I double up on the Zyrtec, and I'll be all right. I try not to sit on the couch. Not that any of your houses are not clean or anything like that.
I always mix Benadryl into your drink because I'm fixing your diet Mountain
also,
Dew.
also appreciated.
Out of love.
Except when I almost fell asleep going home. But so I tested positive for 22 things.
Was Millie one of them?
This might explain a lot.
Put Millie in a
Fortunately,
square.
Millie is
Yeah.
not on the list.
Nobody puts Millie in a square.
22.
Under the animal danders category, there were only 2, and I'm surprised that dog was not one of them.
Oh,
Oh,
So maybe Millie said, "Can we have?"
gecko?
Millie said, "Can we have a dog?" And I was like, "No."
Hey, that is a good choice. Don't ever get one.
But I told the nurse the story of at my father-in-law's house, the dog coming and big dog coming putting its paws on my shoulders, and then it looked like Hitch
Yeah.
when I blew up, and we had to I'm drinking Benadryl in the parking lot of CVS or whatever, and I'm just all swollen up.
You told her you had that lab work done before.
Right. And we tested this in a little different way. And she mentioned that a lot of times when it comes to a dog, that it may
It's
be
what they're
the other
carrying.
molds or
Yeah.
things from outside or all that may not actually be the dog.
I can bring my dogs. We can rub
Right.
them on you and see what happens.
I got a a grade. Okay, so in the animal dander category, cat hair, a surprise to me,
No one.
not at
Yeah.
all, right?
Hmm.
And I got mouse. I knew I hated mice for some reason.
That explains a lot, because when you had that head cold blow up, that's when you had the mouse apocalypse at your house.
Exactly.
Mm-hmm.
So they were probably like walking across my face at night.
Okay,
or something.
can we talk for just a second
Sure.
about how they got a mouse in a plastic square to rub on you?
We can.
How do they do that? Do they
Ziploc bag and a hammer is how you start.
do they were these plastics? I know these plastic squares are samples of these things, but do they just catch a mouse and like shake it off in the
Put it in a blender.
in a blender?
Yeah. And then dip the needle in it and then
dip
stab
yeah.
him
Put
with
it in
it.
the
Stab you with it.
mouse-o-matic.
Yeah. They just rubbed the trap and all.
Poor
the-
dog too, and cat.
Yeah.
You remind me of a story about fertility treatment.
Oh no!
and hamsters. That's best suited for another day.
Next.
Hamster,
Move on.
hamster didn't make the list, did it?
Let me think about. I need
Stop,
to vet.
Jason.
I need to vet that one before
Turn
I tell that
Jason's
story.
mic off.
I've heard this
I'll
story. I'll
what-
bring it
I'll
up.
tell you one thing right now. Butch Watts is probably running off the road.
Yes,
because
yes.
he was lead in
I got the censor
hooting
button
about
ready,
that story.
Drew.
All right. So in the tree pollens category, white ash, red cedar, box elder, white oak.
So if Drew's brother shows up, we should keep you away from him.
Ash, yeah,
you
white
were
ash.
positive.
He is white ash.
He is white ash.
Yeah.
Positive
I saw-
for all of
I
those.
saw him at Bucky's the other night,
Mm.
and
Did
I
you-
might have been
Did
sneezing
you get
going
the
back to the car.
sneezels? The sniffles?
Were those the only trees they tested?
Those no, they also tested Virginia live oak, eastern cottonwood, sweet gum, black willow, red mulberry, and pecan
No pine tree.
or pecan.
Pecan.
Yeah, they're in the next category, tree pollens and grasses. I tested positive for white pine, 7 grass mix, or as she called it, yard grass.
Uh-oh.
No more
Mhm.
cutting the grass. Your son.
I mean, you can't even drive down the interstate because that's all that is, right?
Bahia grass. Yeah, I've pretty much given Jonathan the
Yeah.
yeah, because I mean, for years,
The keys
every
to the
time I
kingdom.
cut the grass, it's just
It
like
would kill you.
you know. So, common privet and black walnut.
The privet's
Uh,
going
what
to get you
privet
around
is
there.
just
That's
bad
the-
around
What is
here.
uncommon privet?
It's the kind that's not as common as
It's
the
not-
common
yeah.
privet.
It only grows in
You
that
haven't
one
seen
place.
it,
Right. Yeah.
I can't remember where, but it's one place.
Yeah.
Under the weeds category, careless weed, which is different than the
Mm.
careful weed,
Yeah.
and cocklebur. I'm allergic to cockleburs.
Well, they're all
What is
over
a
the place around
cocklebur?
here.
And they follow you around. It's
those,
a
those
little
things, those little
sticker.
things that attach to your
Hitchhikers.
pants. You know?
Yeah, the hitchhiker.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Nettle, English plantain, and Russian thistle. So I sort of got international allergies.
Yeah.
Didn't test for
Mr.
Tall
We're going to
wag-
call you Mr. Worldwide.
tall ragweed or western water hemp. You'll probably run into some of that on the way to Denver.
If I'm lucky.
And then the rest of them I have a hard time pronouncing, but under the weeds and molds and fungi category, there's, a couple of things like Areobasidium pullulans.
I've heard of that one.
You heard of that one?
Mhm.
Not
Yeah.
in that term.
Oh yeah,
And
Yeah.
then
it's very good in a soup.
under the
If you want to,
might be
if you
good
want
for
to kill
Yeah,
Tim,
might be good for you. I shouldn't be.
You mix that with
just-
Newt and it'll cure just about anything.
And under molds and fungi, gibberella.
Mm,
old gibberella.
Mm.
that's probably what's growing in your attic.
So anyhow, so
So
the next steps
You could
are,
have saved time by telling us what you were not
I really
allergic
could
to.
have, right? So the next steps are they're cooking up, the
Bubble suit.
injection or whatever that'll
Oh, you'll start
address
doing
all
the
these
shots.
things.
Yeah.
Oh,
I'll go back in a month. They'll show me how to give myself the shots. I'll give myself shots at home, go back and see them in 2 months, and then we'll go from there.
Tim,
Hmm.
have you ever bought local honey that comes from the honeybees, the clover here local to this
Tim,
area.
I'll tell you one thing. I got a local honey over there in Oliver Crossing.
But you're allergic to that honey.
Tim, you get you a Chihuahua, and that dog will take those allergies.
But you call it a chihuahua,
Or
it'll
the
take
seventh
'em
son of a
faster.
seventh son can scratch them off of me
Yeah,
or
that's
something.
right. That's right.
We'll find one of them.
If
right.
you have honeybees and have some local honey, Tim needs a spoonful a day.
Yep.
That's
Just
all it
help him
takes.
out.
If you will just bring it to church.
He'll pay
And
you.
put a drop of urine in your ear.
He'll pay $15 for that jar. 15. He told me. Okay. Are you? You're. I don't
done.
want to. Okay.
Take it
so
away.
I leave on what I like to call the great road trip of 2025 tomorrow. I'm gonna be. There we go.
Tomorrow.
Tomorrow night. Hopefully before 7. Guys, I'll be doing about 3,800 miles over the next week. I got at least 46 hours of driving to do, and going all by myself this trip.
I would have flown. I don't.
I want to see Americana, man.
Bigger.
You're going to see a lot of stuff.
I have
man
a
than
feeling
me.
there's going to be a lot of corn. I'm hoping to see the biggest ball of earwax. A lot of those things. But the goal is to get to the Rockies. I want to see the Rockies.
Will you at least sort of have a photo journal that you can take us back through here?
I think I definitely will. I will be texting y'all updates.
All right.
Hopefully not of me with the hood up on my truck or a flat tire or anything like that. So, but in honor of that, I saw this the other day and I thought it would be interesting to talk about. This is a list of 20 places, and it says the average American has only visited 5 of those. So I want to see who of us is above average, and I honestly think we all are. I've got a little thing to keep up with tick marks so that we'll know who's been where the most.
Jason, that's the nicest thing anyone's ever said about me.
What?
That I'm above average.
Oh, I think you're definitely above average, Patrick, in many ways. So the average American has only visited 5 of these places.
All right.
Statue of Liberty. Who's been there?
I've been there.
Me.
All right, I got 3 of us. No, Tim. This is
I've flown over it, but I've not been to
you're
it.
not okay. Niagara Falls. I've been there.
That's near Canada. You can't go there.
Beautiful place, must see place. You got to go to Niagara. Not when it's cold, but when it's warm.
On the Canadian side?
Either side.
Either side?
Yeah, either. If you go to the Canadian side, you can use your French.
Oh, this is beautiful.
Do you have a little chocolate? That's chocolate for you that can't
Tim would be
speak.
devastated when he learned that he doesn't really speak French, and they don't understand him over there.
All right. The next is the Grand Canyon. I've never been to the Grand Canyon.
Nope.
Nope.
The Mall of America. I don't even know where that is.
I unfortunately have been there,
That's
and it is
Minnesota,
not
right?
super spectacular.
Is it in Minnesota?
Yeah.
I wouldn't have known that.
It is. It is just this ginormo indoor shopping mall, but I mean,
Roller coaster in it?
there's a theme park in it. But what do you think of when you think of a shopping mall now? Closed stores.
Yeah, empty.
That's
building.
pretty much. I
Yeah.
mean, it's got stores, but it's
gangs.
yeah.
And what's that one store that's still open in every mall? Is it like
Orange
Belk?
Julius.
Orange Julius. What? Sbarro. Yeah.
Definitely.
All right. The next one on the list is Disney World. Which one is that? Is that
Orlando.
Orlando.
I've
I've
been
been,
there.
I've been
Went
there
last
I think
year
maybe once.
And going back this year.
Oh,
It's the
Tim.
band trip again.
Oh,
I
Tim.
thought you went to Hawaii last
I
year.
thought you said
No.
you weren't going to do that.
The year before that was Hawaii.
Yeah.
My, how time flies.
Mm.
All right. The Gateway Arch, that's in St. Louis,
Nope.
right?
That's right. Are you going by that?
I don't think I'll go through
No?
St. Louis. So
Uh,
I've seen it, but I've never been there. So if I've seen it, does that count?
Where
I don't
did you
know.
see it from?
From the
I've-
interstate.
I've been there.
or
Oh.
driving by. Okay.
Well, you
I've been-
definitely have been.
I think if you drove by it,
that's
Yeah.
pretty close.
I've
think
been
that
close
counts.
enough that I could see.
I mean, I don't think you had to go up in it.
yeah.
No, I've never been up in it. Let's see here. The Space Needle. I guess that's not
Yep.
the one in
Seattle.
Gatlinburg. That's
Seattle.
in Seattle.
Yeah.
I have not been there.
Been there and up in it. It's you know,
It's a space.
I mean, it's
needle.
what it is.
Did it take you to space?
No,
Okay, Tim, you've been there?
No.
Okay.
I guess a little closer, but
Minimally closer to
The
space.
the Hollywood sign. I've never
Been
been
there.
there. Oh man, Patrick, you are no
He's gonna
longer
win.
average.
Oh, he's got this.
Well, actually, you're average. You're at
Okay,
5.
let me clarify that one. I haven't been up to it, but I have
you've
been
seen-
in
you've been
Hollywood.
in Hollywood.
Just seeing
That's
it.
close
All
enough.
right.
Yeah.
That counts.
The Las Vegas Strip. I've been there.
Yep, unfortunately.
I'm a Christian. Did not go.
Oh,
Not
Yeah.
me.
Don't. Not worth it.
you've been there?
No.
That kind of hurts my heart a little bit. Now I love magic. There's a lot of good magic shows,
Sure.
but you can get to those by Uber. You don't have to go up and down the strip.
Yeah, the magic of losing all your money.
Oh, Penn and Teller,
Mm.
Matt King, Shin
I've
Lim.
never been to a show in Vegas.
Well, there's your mistake.
Yeah.
I saw Elton John in Vegas.
I only go there. I've only been there for work.
Well, I went
Yeah.
for
It's
fun.
a little bit funny.
Okay, let's see here. The White House. I've been there.
I haven't been in it, but I've been to the gate in front of it.
That
Yep.
counts.
Okay, I'll take that one.
Drew White House. Patrick White
Yes.
House. Okay.
Same as Tim.
Okay.
Walk by
Let's see
it.
here.
Really would like to go on the tour through
I went
it if
on
they're
a-
still doing it.
I went on a tour, I think. It was
you
7th grade.
You got to plan that
Yeah.
ahead, and so your school
I feel
probably
like,
did.
I feel
and,
like I
yeah.
got to do that.
Mhm.
Yosemite or Yosemite.
Yosemite Sam. When I was reading those comic books.
Yeah. Isn't that Yosemite? I've never been to Yosemite.
Yosemite's hard to get into. You have to make reservations, I think.
Yeah, I don't even know. You've been there, Pat?
So when you took that out west, Yosemite was not. It's not part of
Yeah,
that.
no.
So far, there's only a couple of these that not one. I think one of us has been to most of. I think the Grand Canyon, none of us have been there.
Mm.
So and Yosemite, I think that's the first one or the only two. The Liberty Bell, that's in
Nope.
Philadelphia. I've not been there.
I've been to Philadelphia.
Just a bell. Wow, just a bell.
Central Park.
Yep.
I have
Yep,
definitely
I've been
been
there.
there.
Been there.
Okay, Drew.
The New York things are getting me.
Gibson,
It is very central.
Patrick. Yeah, it's right. Dead center. Oh, I skipped one. Did I say Times Square?
Nope.
No.
Yeah,
But I've
Times
been there.
Square. I've been
Been
there.
there.
Yeah.
Overrated.
You know, a little too crowded for this old
Yep.
fella.
Yep. Too many naked people too.
Was
I
the
went in
was the
December.
naked cowboy there?
That's probably the move.
I saw him there.
Did you?
I
Yeah.
saw him in Times Square.
I saw him at the lead softball field.
That's even scarier. Was he in his typical
Oh, he
attire?
was in the whitey tidies that were airbrushed, and
Why was he?
he was
why
shaking
was he
her up
down
right
here?
in front of me. It was a Rick and Bubba softball
okay.
game,
Gotcha.
benefit softball game.
Next up, South Beach. I guess that's Miami. I've never
Miami.
been there. I've been to Miami in that stupid airport multiple times.
Yeah, I've been to South Beach.
Well,
I was supposed to go to South Beach
Did
I
you?
was
for,
disappointed.
Were you doing chin ups and
I was
stuff out
not.
there?
for
was
an
not.
Accenture boondoggle, and my mom had surgery and missed that one.
It definitely is the stereotypical thing you see on
Like
TV or
movies
whatever.
that are satirical about
they're
it. Yeah.
they're working out in 90 something degree heat on these.
I don't
city provided.
I don't work out in an
Yeah.
air conditioned gym either.
Yeah.
Just don't work out. Probably should. Nah. All right. Mount Rushmore.
I've been there.
All right, Drew. And our friend didn't Richard on his
Richard
trip
just
go
went
to
there.
Mount
That's right.
Rushmore?
He did.
Mhm.
You been there, Patrick? No,
Have not.
You've not. I'm not. I want to see it one day. Arlington Cemetery. I've been,
Been
there.
there.
That's
Yep.
awesome.
T-Lay, you've been there? No.
No.
Patrick.
Yeah, I
That's
have.
worth the
Yeah.
trip to Washington. That's a cool place.
Changing of the guard is very impressive.
French Quarter. I've been there.
I've been there.
Yeah.
I think all of us have
Well,
been there.
we went to.
You didn't go to the French
we go to a
Quarter at the
wedding?
wedding?
I just went to the wedding and
Yeah.
came back. I had to.
Oh man,
We
Get
went
home?
through we went through the French Quarter.
Yeah,
I
I'm
think,
pretty
getting
sure.
there or
I was.
something.
We were in
know
the
I
same
hung
car.
out. I
Yeah.
hung out in
Yeah.
the. I ate in the French Quarter, so
Yeah.
I know I was
didn't.
there.
Yeah.
So I got
Mhm.
Patrick.
And I've been there
Tim.
for football game.
I've got
and
a picture
for,
somewhere of you ordering a cold Coca-Cola at that wedding.
At the wedding, but
At the
not in
wedding,
the French
yeah.
Quarter.
Yeah, not in the
Yeah.
French Quarter. Yeah, Golden Gate Bridge. I've never been there.
Been
San
there.
Francisco.
Walked over it.
Oh, Patrick, man, you
Yeah.
have
Patrick
not-
is the man.
Killing
He's
us.
well above average,
Mhm.
and we all knew that. And then the last one, the Riverwalk in San Antonio.
Yep.
Been there.
Done
Been
that.
I don't think I've been to San Antonio. I don't think I've been there.
That was on my 1-day training trip to San Antonio.
Mm.
And that night I went down to the Riverwalk and got on one of those boats, ate dinner somewhere.
Did they sing?
How come the
Saw
Alamo's not
Alamo.
Yeah. Why is the Alamo not on that list?
Because there's no basement.
Well, if you go there, you got to learn to say Adobe.
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 All of our San Antonio references come from Pee-wee's Big Adventure.
Because we're idiots.
So Patrick is the winner.
Oh, yeah. So there's only
good
one
job,
of us in the room that is average. Tim?
Me? Oh, Tim.
You're
I'm at
average.
5.
You got 5.
I got 5.
You got 5. Patrick, 13.
Patrick.
Wow.
13 out of
Wow,
20.
Good job.
It's
You
all
gotta
work.
knock-
I've traveled for work.
I need
That's
to
all it
send
is.
you this list, and you need to knock out the rest of them by next meeting.
We ought to see
Will
how
it take him long?
we ought to see what McKinsey's been to.
Oh, I bet he's been to all of them
I was
twice.
thinking of him on
We
several
should,
of those.
we should
that he
invite
had-
him in. And
We would probably have to ask his personal assistant to know where exactly
he can't even
he's been.
remember
Yeah.
where all he's been.
I mean, he's so popular. Let's see. I have done 11. Drew, you've knocked out 7 of the 20. So so we're at least 3 of us are above average. Tim,
just average.
just average, but you're still cool. So all right, that's pretty much wraps up my.
Well, I hope you have a good trip.
Absolutely.
Me too. I will. I'll be messaging the old Passages crew. I know.
So you're not going to go totally off grid. You're going to
No, I'll have to
drop
have
us
my
a
phone.
line from time to time.
Passages group chat. We'll
Yep.
be watching.
And I will be doing everything I can to avoid the edges of cliffs and selfie sticks.
Please.
Yeah, don't need to have any tumbles.
So
But that's all I got. And I will not be here next week, I don't think, because I'll be
Okay.
coming back in Wednesday, and I have a feeling after 10, 11 hours in the road, probably not going to.
We'll see.
We'll see. I might.
But we'll use the group chat to provide an update on
Yeah.
your travels.
Yeah.
Well, I have a stat tonight. Just a single stat. I'm going to read it, and
Is
then
it just a number?
no. I mean,
Oh,
it's a.
Must be impressive stat.
7.
Not just your normal
Yeah,
stat.
Then he
se-
gets quiet.
yeah.
7.
I'm going to read it, and then I'm going to just listen to your commentary because I think it's a funny stat. All right, men are 4 times more likely to be a millionaire than have a 6-pack. Thoughts?
Well, I have a 6-pack. I just keep mine in a cooler.
Well, visible
Visible
6-pack.
6-pack.
I don't know what makes me more hopeful here. I mean, I have neither. What's the stat on that?
The only
the-
2 in this room that have a chance at a 6-pack are you 2. I think
Yeah,
our 6-pack days. I
I'm
have a
testing-
diastasis. It's all messed up right here. It looks like I have an alien coming out of my belly.
Is there a flaw? No, I didn't take
got a six-pack
statistics.
and one of the cans is coming out.
Yeah, mine looks like a 6-pack with a bottle in the center of it. It's not a pretty thing, guys. It happened after my
here's
second
the problems
pregnancy.
is some people have both, right?
So here's the backup stat, the backing stat.
Now, are we talking net worth millionaire or $1 million in the bank?
Just says millionaires, so I would assume
Net
net worth. 12%
That could be a lot of people.
of U.S. men are millionaires,
Okay.
while only 2.5% have a visible 6-pack.
But you know that 2.5% post more pictures to social media than the millionaires do.
Yeah, definitely nowadays.
And is that? I mean, is that because of manscaping or
I don't know.
I can lean against a
Is there-
fence and get the look of a 6-pack.
For a few minutes.
We could use
Just
some
press
spray.
it into
we could
me.
do some spray paint.
Yeah, if you could get a little bit of shadowing done, I probably could have it.
So it's easier to be a
12%
millionaire than to
strategic.
get a 6-pack.
Yeah, I'm in your
strategic
camp. I have
waxing.
neither.
Mhm.
Yeah.
No, it's easier to be a millionaire than get a 6-pack.
Yeah.
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 I thought that's what I said.
Yeah.
It's not 10 o'clock yet, and I'm already losing my mind.
Well, we can roll the tape back. Maybe I misheard you.
Probably not.
I stopped paying attention after the allergy report, so I'm totally
I don't know what to
lost.
make of that statistic. I'm thinking there's some logical. I mean, there are so many men that are
4
outside of
times?
the
Mm-hmm.
parameters of this study that can't participate.
I think it just says it's really hard to have a 6-pack.
Mm-hmm.
Well, it requires sit-ups more than just sitting up and get out of bed.
right.
in the
I think it
morning.
requires more diet than any exercise you could do.
Well, and not having an alien growing out of your belly.
Yeah, you can't have the alien.
And you
Yeah,
gotta have,
it is more about what you eat.
right. You got to have the desire.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean,
Yep.
I haven't got one of them desires. I got to get one of these days.
Oh, that's it.
Well, it's time for
Should we
Your
post-
Mind is a Muscle.
all right.
I have that loaded up.
Is that Ash Kaiser?
White Kaiser and the Bonus Point Band.
Who
Off
we
the
found out Tim is allergic to.
album Your
Sorry,
Mind
Ash.
is a Muscle. You can find all their songs at thebonuspointband.com. I think.
That's right. Thebonuspointband.com.
And they're good.
Yep.
We gotta play to the chorus, right?
Very catchy.
They're never my concern. It's fun to play athletic games, but you've left something out. You need to exercise your brain. This is what I'm talking about. Your mind is a muscle. Can't you understand? You can do anything when it's under your command. Your mind is a muscle. Can't you understand? Your mind is a muscle and it needs some exercise.
All right.
Flavor of like 80s punk to that, just
Yeah,
a little bit, you
punk.
know?
Yeah, I hear it.
You know, like a little bit of a talking head kind of thing or
Yeah.
something. You know, I mean, just
Y'all-
sort of
a little
pick that up.
flaming
You know what I
Lips.
like the best about it? We don't have to worry about a copyright strike.
No.
That's right.
We can play this whole album in
Turn it up right here.
Learn to write and read.
It starts.
It doesn't matter who you are. You can't be an MVP. So trade your gym shorts for a pocket protector.
I like
and
this
get
part.
a scientific graphic calculator. We'll play some silencers and checkers, chess and tic-tac-toe. We'll watch a learning channel while we play some domino. Your mind is a muscle.
That's good.
To understand, you can do
I like that little voice effect that he uses.
Your mind is a
Ash can rock. He can still do it. That's from, I don't know, 20 years ago, but
Whatever
He
you
can still
do,
do it.
though, Tim, don't get near him.
Nope.
yeah.
You'll swell up like
Don't get
Hitch.
near White Ash.
Not without your EpiPen.
But I'm gonna get shot, so I can
Break
be
out
near
in
him.
hives.
Yeah. If you see him
Yeah.
at deep, no hugs. I don't want to lose my buddy.
Okay. Well, this is an article not just about, making us smarter. It is about the mind. I have a friend who told me a story one time, and I still question it, but it's a funny story to me. He said he went and visited a facility for the mentally disabled adults. And he met this one guy. And the guy came up to him and he said, "What's your birthday?" And he told him, and the guy said, "That would have been a Tuesday." And so he thought, this is impossible. And he looked it up, and it was on a Tuesday. And then I read about this condition, highly superior autobiographical memory, or HSAM, also known as hyperthymesia. Only about 100 people are thought to have this condition, and they're able to recall an astonishing number of personal events from their lives. This article is about a young lady, a teen in France. They refer to her as TL to protect her identity. But it's all about how these individuals with this condition are able to retrieve personal events from the past. And this is the weird part, and imagine personal events set in the future. More on that in a moment. Her incredible ability to mentally time travel through the days allows TL to feel as though she is re-experiencing what has come and pre-experiencing what is yet to be. Her story could help scientists better understand how the human brain encodes, retrieves, or discards memories from our lives, thereby formulating a sense of identity and continuity. In these individuals, memories are carefully indexed by date. Some will be able to describe in detail what they did on July 6, 2002, and experience again the emotions and sensations of the day. Ever since TL was a kid, she's been able to mentally time travel to relive her memories in vivid detail, often from various angles, as if she were omnipresent at the scene. This is the part I don't understand. She can also travel to the future. Her mental predictions can evoke a strong sense that events she hasn't previously personally experienced have happened before.
Can she tell us the lottery numbers?
Wait.
Yeah. No, she can't.
So like a hyper deja vu kind of thing.
Yeah, I think she's having deja vu
And
because they
projecting
mentioned
it into the future.
Yeah,
somehow.
yeah, something like that. I don't think she can predict the future.
No.
I mean, the future isn't set, so you can't predict what hasn't happened yet.
But she can project, almost like forward project her memories into some false reality.
Yeah, some false reality. It has to be. Facts and scholarly knowledge that carry no emotional weight aren't stored alongside special visual imagery in her mind and require effort to memorize. So, Patrick, when it comes to things like lottery numbers, the answers to a test, math, and things like that, they don't necessarily have a photographic memory in that way. It's memories connected to emotions and experiences that they retain to a superior degree. Now, this girl, it gets into how she has rooms in her mind, and she stores.
Palace.
Have you heard?
I've heard of
this
something
thing
called
before?
a mind palace.
Okay, I never heard of this before, but
Totally
her
different
personal
from
memories.
a mime palace.
Totally
different.
You don't want to go in the mime palace.
You don't want to be in a mind palace. That's too close to a clown, Jason.
Sorry.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly.
Her-
But also in France.
Oh.
Her memories, which carry emotion, are more easily stored in her mind's eye in a rectangular, very large white room with a low ceiling. Like a library, this mental room contains the moments of her life filed according to an intricate catalog system. Each toy she's ever owned is there on display with a tag dictating its name and from whom and when it came. She can pore over family photos in the white room as she's memorized every detail of them. If she wants to, she can pull a much-loved book off the mental shelf for a comforting read.
So
I don't know if that's true, but that's pretty impressive.
So if she's read a book, she
Wow.
can recall it.
That's
is
what it
she's
seems
saying.
to suggest.
this is
In
like
a white room.
Yeah, that's what that song's about.
Yeah.
That's a cool song. Unable to forget negative memories like the rest of us, she stores them in a chest within the white room. And there's a whole map here of everything.
Oh, she drew a map of it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's not a great map.
Well, I can see
You know?
her higher function is not with art.
No, she's not. She's not much of an artist. Tim's
Not a Van
doodles
Gogh.
would outdo that any day of the week.
Absolutely.
But some observations. So one thing is you'll notice she remembers things visually. And I don't know if you've ever taken a class on memorization or read a book about it. Everybody says the same thing. People who have good memories remember things in narrative form that might make a story out of a sequence of numbers or words, or they'll attach pictures, or they'll do some kind of attribution.
Yeah.
Is that the word I'm looking for? Association.
Mm-hmm.
Association. They don't just straight up memorize things. And you just kind of have this narrative flow in your head. And she's doing this. She's got a room in her head, and there's shelves and tags and all those kinds of things. Another thing is the question, would this be a blessing or a curse to remember everything?
Everything.
Well, considering I repress most of my memories, I think it would be a curse.
So
Yeah.
just
There's some things that you don't want to remember.
super fast. Since you said the word, I looked up the say it again.
Oh, man.
Thigh doctor.
HASM.
Hyperthymesia.
Okay.
Hyperthymesia.
I looked it up. So while we're talking about difficulties, in some of the people who are diagnosed with this, the constant irrepressible stream of memories can cause significant disruption to their life. Some describe their recollection as nonstop, uncontrollable, and totally exhausting, and as a burden.
Mm-hmm. I've heard
it's
that.
like a movie that just plays over and over.
It's
in their
almost
head.
like you
Yeah, they
can't turn it off.
Yeah.
Right.
They can't turn it off. It's
I'm also interested. The person that they're talking about in this article was made anonymous by the initials TL.
TL.
The first person who was diagnosed with this, her name was Jill Price, and they used in a different study than what you've described here. They used a similar anonymous AJ. So I guess that's how they, in medical journals.
Well, for HIPAA reasons, you can't
Sure.
disclose. Yeah,
and
so-
a lot of them are minors. I get the idea this is a teenager. I think the article said that. I looked it up. The average person remembers about 10 to 11 events from each year from the age of 10 forward. I don't even know if I can do that.
Yeah.
But
I don't know that I can remember what I had for lunch yesterday.
Like if I said, give me 10 events from
You tell me what day of the-
2022.
Yeah.
If you tell me
Could
what
you
day
do
of
it?
the week it is, I can tell you.
It would
what-
take
what
me
I
a
had for
while.
lunch.
It would take me a while.
Well, yeah.
There are some years that are eventful, and I can.
Right. And you might
repressed all
remember
mine.
all these events, but placing them in a year would be difficult.
Yeah.
Right.
Well, and part of that is my life is so boring. I mean, this is Wednesday of every year. What we're doing right here. I mean,
This
I can
for
tell
the
you
last year, yeah.
I can tell you about 50 times on Wednesdays of 2024, I recorded a podcast. But I'm fascinated with the idea of the potential of the brain and this. I wanted this to lead to this discussion. Do we really forget anything? Or is it just a retrieval issue? A lot of
good
what this
question.
girl's talking about is how she retrieves stuff. She has a good retrieval system. I think, you hear things like you only use 10% of your brain. And under hypnosis, people can be made to remember things they didn't know they had in there. I've had dreams, and I'm not sure if I dreamed that I remembered it or if it was a true memory, but I've had dreams about things that happened in my past that I couldn't remember consciously. So there's stuff in there that we can't pull out consciously. And there's been some studies. I looked up 1958, there was a study where they were showing people pictures. They show them thousands of pictures. And then they would come back a few minutes later and they'd show them two pictures side by side and they'd say, which one of these did you see before? And they got it right with 98% accuracy. Now that's, I guess, short-term memory, not long-term memory.
But I
But
think
I'm
our
just-
memories that are associated with our senses, things we've seen, heard, smell, those kind of things. That's
Yes.
why a song will come on and I'll think, oh man, I can remember riding to Dairy Queen before a basketball game with Chris Needham in his mom's white minivan listening to this song. Or I can remember pulling into Kroger in Nashville, Tennessee, listening to this song. I mean, there's that type of memories. There's, a lot of the, so going back to what I was talking about in Vegas, each casino has a certain scent and that scent is there to lock that place in as a memory so that when you walk in, your olfactory nerve smells it and thinks, okay, I'm here. You smell a scent out in public and you think of that place. There are companies that market scents to businesses to create a scent memory.
There's a hotel scent. You walk into any lobby of any, maybe, I don't know, 2 or 3 star hotel.
Yeah. There's
Very
gonna
distinctive.
be something.
Do you think that's part of the reason the Lord gave special ingredients for the incense to be burned in the temple?
I
Or
would say there's
the
got to be
temple
some
was
part
to
of that.
smell a certain way?
Well, and it was a visual thing too, as far as the sacrifices go for the priests that were doing those. Some of the sacrifices were out in the court. You think about what they were doing to the altar itself and the visual and the sensory, the smell that you would have.
But just make
associated
it this real memorable, powerful experience by pulling more senses in. That is key to memory. But I still wonder, even without the sensory, maybe the sensory stuff is just part of the retrieval system. Do we actually forget things? And this gets into some speculation here, but there are texts in the Bible that say on Judgment Day, every secret thing will be brought up. Ecclesiastes 12:14. Every deed done by the body, whether good or evil. 2 Corinthians 5:10. Every idle word will be brought up. Matthew 12.
That one hurts.
Yeah, I mean, these are frightening texts, but we know the blood of Christ redeems us from the sins that we've committed. And we take comfort in the statement, the promise of God, their sins and their iniquities will I remember no more. He'll treat them as if they never happened. But is judgment playing back that tape that's in your head of all those things? And is hell just a cycle of that tape over
Almost
and over
like
and over
a loop
again?
of here are the opportunities you had and where you blew it.
I mean, I don't.
That would be.
There's no way to know.
That would be a definition of
That
hell.
would be hell. That'd be psychological hell.
I would consider that torment. I would think
Yeah.
a condition like that the lady TL has to be torment.
Yeah.
I don't want to remember what I did on June 2nd, 1997. I don't have any desire to know what happened on a lot of those days in the past.
Oh, that is actually I was Googling it really fast so I could say, oh, that was a Tuesday.
Yeah.
That was actually this is just super down now, but that was the day they found guilty Timothy McVeigh.
Oh,
so
that's what I remember.
Weird
June
that you
2nd,
pulled that out.
97, Yeah.
Yeah, of course. Well, I'll wrap this up with a thought. The great Latin American author Jorge Luis Borges wrote a story, Fune the Memorious, about a person with this condition, something like this. Now, in the story, this guy could remember the shape of every second of a flame. He could remember the clouds. I mean, it was outrageous the way he described this guy's memory. And he was afflicted by his memory. He definitely had a curse. But one of the lines from that story is, we all live by leaving behind.
Ooh, I do like that.
You've got to be able to leave your past behind. And, that makes me think of Philippians 3:13 and 14, forgetting what lies behind, straining forward to what lies ahead. And the gospel gives us the power to do that.
You were talking about, this whole idea of being tortured by your memories, and is that part of the torment of hell? And, we talk about a lot of times, like the idea of knowing others, that we'll know one another in heaven, right?
Yeah.
There's evidence around that. And it's like, how is that going to fit with people that we know who aren't there? And how does that relate to the fact that there won't be pain and tears in heaven that obviously would be prompted by the idea of someone we love not being there?
Well, the late Alan Hires, who passed away just a few days ago, had a sermon, a famous sermon, 5 minutes after death. And he addressed this problem. What if I get to heaven with all my memories and I'm looking for loved ones and they're not there? And he said, I don't know the answer to that totally, but I do know the passage that says God will wipe away every tear. So
Doesn't say that
somehow,
there won't be a tear.
yeah, right. Somehow there are tears there, and he will, in his grace and power, give us the ability to experience joy in that place.
Yeah.
I mean, there's just so many things we don't know.
Sure.
It's fun to talk about, or maybe sobering to talk about the potential of memory and what role it might play at the end of time. But we could be way off base here. It's just interesting things to think about. And be glad when you can't find your car keys. Today I couldn't find a paper I was supposed to have filled out. And I'd read this thing and read about the torture of remembering everything, and I counted it a blessing that I was able to forget something. So
I'll tell you a related thing to this really quick. Just the idea of an old memory. I was driving back into the neighborhood one evening this week, and I just had this thought all of a sudden from, 50 years ago, and it struck me, and I haven't called my sister to have this discussion. But when we grew up, I knew that my dad built the house that we lived in. And I remember us having a discussion sometime after he passed about someone who came in and they were doing some work in it, and they said, we've never seen a house before that was any more square than this house is. He was good at what he did. But then I started thinking about, did I know he built this house? Did I ever ask questions like, did you do everything? Did you lay the brick? Did you lay the foundation? Did you do the electrical? Did you do all this? And I was like, how could I have known that and never, it's like, I don't think I ever knew any detail other than he built this house. And I'm anxious to talk to my sister to know if she knows any other detail about it, because, and I don't know, maybe it was the fact that, he passed when I was 13, and I, later might have asked him a lot more about.
Right. When you were little, you didn't know what all went into building a house.
How did he do this and everything? And, but I know he built the house, but it's like, was he like the general contractor of the house, or did he do everything? So
if he did, he's a talented guy.
So I'm interested, sis, if you're listening to this, I'm going to give you a call. Be ready. I want to hear what you remember about that memory.
Judging from Tim's memory, maybe you ought to just go ahead and give him a call.
That's right. I may forget to call you.
We're going to take a little break and turn the air up. It's really cold in here.
Oh, it's fantastic.
Don't you warm it up?
I'm sweating.
Yeah. Put the phone down, Drew. Yeah.
That's why you're the closest to a six-pack in here.
We're going to get Drew a sweater from the next room, and we'll be right back.
It's time for this week's passage. This week's passage is the second quote we've done from Haruki Murakami, the Japanese novelist. This is from, I believe, his short story collection, Blind Willow, Sleeping Woman. And the quote is, "There are ways of dying that don't end in funerals, types of death you can't smell." The basic idea is death is not just physical. And I think going along with that may be the idea that physical death is not the worst thing that can happen to you. Of course, from a Christian perspective, we talk a lot about death in terms of separation rather than termination. We believe that when you die physically, that's not the end of you, that the spirit lives on, the body returns to the dust as it was, and the spirit to God who gave it. Ecclesiastes 12, verse 7. James says the body without the spirit is dead. So there's that separation. And you carry that out spiritually. A death is separation from God. An eternal death is permanent separation from God after Judgment Day.
This when I read it the first time, the thing that came to my mind was just the idea of growing old and deciding that your life is over, right?
Mm-hmm.
Before it is.
Yeah.
Right. And just, not continuing to live life, but to think that maybe because I can't do some things that I could do before, that there's still life worth living.
Mm-hmm.
And
sometimes we die before we die.
Right.
Is that the idea?
Yeah. That was the aspect of this that I thought of as I just read it initially.
And that's more in the spirit of the original quote, I would think.
Yeah.
Yeah. There's one death that's inevitable. And then there are other deaths that we could avoid. if we worked at it, if we wanted to,
Right.
if
So
we
just
had enough faith.
Right. So just in terms of that idea of not continuing to live, you're sort of giving up, and that's a type of death you can't smell. You're still alive, but you've sort of wrapped it up here. And I think as all of us get older, we talk about the things that we want to do, to continue being productive in some way, having an enjoyable life, living a fulfilling existence. And I think, those are important things to think about and plan for, because it doesn't just happen. We're all going to reach a point here in the next 20 years, where we're going to stop doing what we right now wake up every morning to go do. And, what's your existence going to be like at that point?
Mhm.
I mean, I really hope that it's going to be a lot more fulfilling,
Yeah.
but
And it can be.
it can be, absolutely. But it also can be sort of the end if you don't plan it out, and if you're not intentional in what you're going to go try to do at that point.
I was thinking very similar to what you're saying, but I was thinking about just ways people give up in life. They quit a hobby. They stop doing, if it's not a hobby, they stop doing something that they love. And, you can think about things like depression or other mental things that can do that. Or, maybe life just gets in the way. You have kids, and so your hobby is sort of not something that is compatible with that for a while, and you kind of move away from it. Or, and I'm stuck on the word hobby because a lot of times people ask, what do you do for fun? And when people ask me that right now, I don't actually know, because right now it's all kids.
Right.
Volleyball is what I do for fun during these 2 months of the year. And I go to work, and then I go home and I go to sleep because I'm tired. Like tonight, we're all in here yawning. So, I was thinking about it a little bit in that way of, if like if you part of your identity is this thing you love, and then you have to stop doing it, or it doesn't even have to be a hobby. It could just be, you get really burnt out at work, and so you just leave your job and go do something completely different. There's a meme on the internet about IT guys who quit IT and go be goat farmers. I mean, very specific, but that's sort of maybe in that way you decided to do it instead of it sort of happening to you and you didn't want it to happen. But, that's sort of a death of something you were doing, and you're moving on to something else, whether you like it or not.
I want to talk about the second half of the quote, types of death you can't smell. There was was it in the late 90s, the movie that came out where the kid says, "I see dead people."
Yeah.
Yep.
I think sometimes, especially on the spiritual side of it, but even kind of in what y'all were talking about in apathy or just giving up on living, not necessarily physically living, but just experientially, just I'm going to go home, sit on my couch, and when the Lord calls me home, I'm going to go, but I'm not going to experience things. I think there's a good opportunity for us, and I think this is where relationships, especially relationships in the church, become really, really important. You can tell physical death. I mean, you can drive up any highway in Alabama and see the buzzards circling, and oh no, that shows there's something dead over there, and they're following the scent of the death. So it's a very bright picture of what that looks like. But in our church, in our community, and our friendships around us, there are people who are spiritually dead. There are people who are going through the motion of life, but inside they feel dead, they feel lost. And it becomes real important for us to look for other signs of death and look at ways to help those people, to keep our heads out of our phones and our heads out of the other distractions of life. And
You're talking
build
about like the
relationships.
spiritual equivalent of buzzards or smells.
Yeah, because
You know,
there's
what are the
things?
danger
Yeah,
signs?
because there's other
spiritually?
signs to death than just the smell.
Yeah,
There's the decay. There is the falling apart and
The withdrawal.
yeah, having been isolation's one of the biggest signs of it. Having been someone that has been spiritually dead and has been, I guess, for lack of a better term, resurrected from that death. There were things I knew I was doing that were signs, isolation. I mean, and I was not going to share them. And I would have people come up and say, "Hey, what's going on? You seem like something's off," but I surely wasn't going to tell. But sometimes just getting our heads up and looking around, and I think that's where church becomes such an important part of community, having a group of like-minded, faithful people who have the same goal of getting to heaven as you do, who can look for those signs. Why are you being withdrawn? Where have you been? I noticed you hadn't been here. What's going on in your life? You seem like you're sad. You seem like you're hyperactive, like you're nervous, like you're anxious. Talk to me about what's going on, because the smell of death, if you've been around anything dead, you know what that smell is. If you've had a freezer go bad, you know what that smell is. But there are other signs to it as well. And I think it's a sign that we need to be looking for those who are, to steal from the TV show, The Walking Dead, because they're out there. They're amongst us. There's folks in this church who we're friends with who are struggling with things and just not open to talking about it. And it's part of our responsibility as their brothers and sisters to look for those signs and to talk about it. And it's an uncomfortable conversation, and they may not be willing to have it, but it doesn't mean that we don't try.
And it's really hard for anyone to be offended by someone just saying, "Hey, are you okay? Is
I'm
everything all
concerned
right?"
about you. Yeah.
I mean, even if you are all right, I mean, that's not an offensive statement. That's a statement of caring.
I don't know. Why do you keep asking me that the other night? Just,
Let me show you, Tim. Ask me.
Drew, how you doing? Everything
Not
okay?
good.
Oh, no.
Why are you asking?
Well,
See?
it's because
Why does everybody keep asking me that?
I don't know, Drew. It just seems like you're acting like a jerk.
What do you
a lot.
mean? I wanted to tie in another quote
Segue.
from
And scene.
I think I proved that point.
Yeah, I just moved to strike everything I said.
Okay, it was good stuff.
Listen to this from Carl Sandburg. Keep away from little deaths.
Yeah.
That's kind of related. He's talking about the way we die a little bit every hour, compromises, selfishness, anxiety, wasted opportunities, fear, sin, of course. And it's not the big things that do us in, it's the little deaths. It also makes me think of that expression, death by 1,000 cuts. That's the way we die in these more dangerous ways that we're talking about. And, some people go out physically like that, and then like Charlie Kirk, some people go immediately. And that's true also spiritually. Some fall off the precipice and some gently roll downhill. And if you don't notice it, and Jason, I think that's what you're warning about, is watch for people gradually slipping away. Drifting is a biblical word for it. And keep away from those little deaths.
Do not go into that gentle, or do not go gentle into that good night.
Yeah.
Now, Carl Sandburg, did he play baseball? Because I know his son Ryan.
That was Ryan.
Yeah, Ryan. His son is Ryan Sandberg, second baseman, right?
Yeah.
I don't believe Carl is in that family.
Oh.
I'd be a different Sandberg branch of the tree.
I guess so.
Well, I think we're all played out.
I'm exhausted.
Yeah.
Tim's just drawing pictures of pillows and beds.
Jason, we hope you have a great trip.
Thanks, guys.
Hope you see a lot of new country and learn a little bit about yourself and this world we're in. Get away from the routine of life and come back safely with lots of good stories.
What concert are you going to?
The Red Clay Strays
Okay.
at Red Rocks. I've always wanted to see a concert there. I'm
That'll
really
be
excited
awesome.
about it.
It's a destination
They
point.
say it is one of the top places in the U.S. to see a concert. So
Maybe it should be
we'll
on
see.
your list of places the average
Yeah.
person needs to go.
I'm gonna check off some things off of my list that I've always wanted to see. The Rockies being one of the, not the baseball team. I could care less about them, but the actual mountains.
The mountains. Beautiful out there. Well, we thank you for joining us. That's all we've got for this week. Stay tuned. There's more to come on Passages.